Welcome back. We want to update you on our top story. An explosion at the end of an Ariana Grande concert that has claimed at least 22 lives. Children and teenagers are among the dead and injured. ISIS has claimed responsibility for that attack in Manchester, England. Police say the attacker died in the explosion, but they have made at least one additional arrest. One of the concert goers described the chaotic scene just after the explosion.
Honestly, nobody knew what it was at the time. A lot of people thought it was a gun. I thought it was a gun at first. But I just remember seeing screams and hearing it rather, and just seeing everybody crying and just running.
British Prime Minister Theresa May is in Manchester at this hour. She called the attack an act of appalling, sickening cowardice. Well, the attack targeted the youngest in the Manchester community. With a closer look at the healing aspect of the story, we're joined by Mustafa Field. He's the director of Faiths Forum and works in the Manchester community. Mustafa, good to have you with us. I'm so sorry it's under these circumstances, but it sounds like the community is really coming together. Just give us a sense of the reaction and how people are responding there.
I mean, this brutal attack, this cowardly attack, really has ripped apart, our communities. An attack on young women and children and families. It's really tragic, and how this has taken place. But what we're seeing is how the communities are coming together. The emergency services responded so rapidly, and how the communities of Manchester have opened their doors. You've got a curry shop down the road, who's opened its doors and is giving free food to emergency service providers. Probably some of the crew from the media have had food at some of the shops that have been opened their doors. People are offering lifts. People welcome people to their homes. So, in many ways, these evil people try to divide our communities, but they're not winning. We've seen people of Manchester come together. We've seen the people of Britain come together in support and solidarity, and that we're going to be united, and we're going to go through this very difficult period together and support each other and care for each other.
Mustafa, just give us a sense, a perspective on the makeup of the community, the socio-economic makeup of the city, and also the religion there. I understand Christianity is a majority religion there. Just explain that.
I mean, Manchester is one of the diversest cities in the United Kingdom, and there's strong sections. We've got all faith communities here. Strong presence of Muslim community, Hindu, Sikh communities, all living together. We have so in northern Manchester we have a strong Jewish community, but what we're seeing is how our faith leaders are coming together. I just speaking to some of the faith leaders earlier about some solidarity, some prayers, some events that have come together. I spoke to some imams who've been going to the local hospital to donate blood. There's a real sense of, we're going to go over this together, and but this is something. It's a real challenge. Muslim communities are particularly feeling very vulnerable in this very difficult period, because these perpetrators are trying to do it in the name of their faith, and there's an extra responsibility upon them to try and help to prevent such tragedies. But also there's strong cooperation between the faith community and the tradition, and it's sometimes a struggle what more can be done to reduce these attacks. But we know that unfortunately they're consistent, and many have been stopped, but there is consistent attempts by groups like Daesh, who are losing ground in places like Iraq and Syria, who soon will lose all their territory, are trying to divert the attention of the world by these cowardly attacks.
ISIS, as you mentioned, has claimed responsibility for this attack. How do you worry that minority Muslims, will be targeted? We are already seeing some anger on social media.
I think we see fringes within our society who want to vent out, and what we need to do as faith communities, as people in position of responsibility, as people of no faith, we need to bring people together. We need to create safe spaces for people to build those relationships. We're coming to 1 year on to the murder of Joe Cox, who was an MP who was based not far from Manchester, who was killed by a far-right extremist. So we've got to work together to tackle all forms of extremism, be it extremism inspired by Daesh or the far right. And what the best way that is that when we stand together, we work together, and we enhance understanding. And that's a very powerful tool. This Ramadan, many mosques are opening their doors. We've seen Manchester's a real hub where communities really do come and experience. People of the non-Muslim faith come into mosques and share iftar with their Muslim counterparts. There's a real experience of relationships. Many synagogues open their doors and host local Muslim communities. So there's some really special relationships, and we hope that these tragic events don't undermine it, don't allow us to fall in the trap of division, because that's what groups like Daesh, the far right, want to achieve. But we're seeing that actually we're countering that. The resolve of the people is through generosity, opening their homes, welcoming people, and that's something special. And I think Manchester has shown its resilience in this very difficult time.
Well, it looks like we're already seeing a community outpouring of love there. Mustafa Field, good to have your perspective on all of this. Thanks so much for joining us, and all the best to you.
Thank you.
Well, we will have much more on this breaking news story after a short break. Stay with us right here on CNN.